Good evening, people of the internet. This will be an unboxing and very in-depth review, as well as introduction and buyer's guide for the Mob Psycho 100 Special Edition Blu-ray DVD. You might be wondering about this. I rather look like a fool than have my face be on the internet, and while more thematically appropriate, my Lord Psycho helmet mask is a bit too cumbersome for this sort of thing, I think. Alright then, here we go. I've already opened everything and investigated everything and made charts. That's just the way that I function, I suppose. Charts. Very basic charts. Charts. Anyway. If you're watching this for strictly ASMR purposes rather than buyer's guide purposes, then you do not want to be kept awake by an ongoing dialogue, then I'll have strictly special edition DVD based noises at the end that you can skip ahead to and put on loop. There's a website you can do it on. I'll put a link in the description. And if you're here for buyer's guide purposes, then simply turning up the speed of the video in the settings should remove the annoyance. Anyway, at long last, this was supposed to come in December 2017. The box arrived. Like I said before, I already opened it and investigated it thoroughly. With a kitchen knife sold to me by a friend of mine. I wasn't sure that this was it because I checked Crunchyroll maybe once a week to see if they shipped it out yet. My parents keep saying that the company gypped me, even though they've sent merchandise to me before. This shirt here. This was before there were better shirts available. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of it. The material is not comfortable, particularly dimple, right over the other thing that rhymes with cool. And the imagery is a bit too embarrassing to wear anywhere but in a video for the folk of the internet. But I really wanted to make sure Crunchyroll knew that we wanted this sort of thing to come to us. The real goods. The real special sort of thing. Like the mysterious Arataka Reagan salt shaker that appeared for a few days. Moving on. Opening up. Trying to push some more merch on us. Hunter x Hunter, eh? Heard a bunch of glorious things about this series. Also heard that it's going to be finished around the same year as Berserk. And I think I've got enough long-running shonen in my life with the likes of One Piece And then just the fact that, that had my name on it, but I'm guessing the video quality is bad enough that that shouldn't be an issue. Anyway, I finally got what I wanted. This was buried under tissue paper, which I will be returning to various points throughout the video. There it is. It's covered in plastic wrap originally, which I've already disposed of. Can't really make a good sliding noise on this. And this is just the outer case. Ooh. That's a nice noise when you shake it. There we go. The inner cover here is not really as special. I should probably start with the DVD itself, although the extras are a lot of fun. If you don't know about Mob Psycho, I'll read the description on the back, or rather on the back that was held to get onto the disc by the tissue paper. Unbelievable psychic abilities, a dark and dangerous force. Dark and dangerous force. These are things that make up Kageyama Shigeo, aka Mob. But despite his great power, Mob only wants one thing: to be cool. Gonna stop there. Sure, you can read the synopsis of the series elsewhere. I mean, what's the point if I don't put my own unique spin on it, right? Basically, you might know that this is from the same creator of One Punch Man, which is 60% comedy, 40% action, and then drama soon in between, weaving it all together. This puts drama in the forefront with the comedy elements as well, but it's a very different feel once you get into it. It might seem very similar at first, but trust me, very different series, and it's more slice of lifey. The first episode, if you've seen that, it's free on Crunchyroll with commercials, and also you can do a trial run on it, the dub version on Verve. Might seem very action heavy, but most of the action scenes in that first episode are actually grabbed from various points in the manga and shoved in there to pull people in. Which is nice that they're getting to the action fast, but really they're distracting from the core of the series, and they're elongating even more what sadly has a very slow start to it. I know you can make sense of that sentence. I have faith in you. They never explain this in the show. Oh, by the way, those who know the show, that psychic patterning, I'm pretty sure most closely resemble Ritsu's psychic patterning rather than Mob's. Interesting choice. Anyway, Mob is a Japanese term, of course taken from the English term, but it more so means mob, a background character, like the mob of people that you might see in the stadium of a tournament arc in a fighting anime. Somebody who blends into the crowd with no particular outstanding characteristics. This comes from the fact that this fella here is emotions and psychic powers are tied together, and by restraining his emotions and he's restraining his psychic powers, and he's trying to live a more normal life, a safer life, because of some traumatic incidences. The 100 in the title comes from the fact that when stressors and particularly emotional events occur, all of the emotional stress builds up inside him, adding to a percentage meter, which can be used for jokes, and also to let you kind of fill you in to when the next big climax might be coming, or change in the tone of the series to when a particular emotion comes out. This might lead you astray to think, oh, so when he reaches 100, he's going to go nuts. He's going to destroy everybody. But all the emotions act differently. The anime-only sequence that's at the very, very start of the anime might lead you to believe otherwise, but sadness, for example, when he has regrets, it puts things back together. Or 100% empathy, it allows him to absorb other people's powers more easily. Or 100% trust simply just sends all of his powers away temporarily. Yeah, those are spoilers, but I think you'll forget about them soon enough, and you'll never know which one's coming. You do a really nice job building it up. You never know what's going to happen next. And you do never know what's going to happen next. One thing it does have in common with One Punch Man is that the author, One, knows his way around tropes. You're expecting one thing to happen, something else happens, and it's hilarious. Something really minor, it's probably not big of a spoiler, two major characters who diverge and returning. They're about to have a fight. Turns out they're not. And you think that one character is going to sit around and be the Speedwagon or the Krillin or the Bulma to try to tell us more about how this fight is so amazing and all of these cool things that are happening. When in fact, he says, oh no, it would be below my standing to sit around watching people fight, and he just leaves. Little things like that all throughout the series. You never know what's going to happen. Now, so if you're in it purely for the action, then you'll probably be disappointed. Especially for the manga, maybe you'll enjoy the anime more. On the other hand, no matter whether it's an action scene... this isn't very good for tapping, is it? Oh, that's better. Whether it's an action scene or otherwise, Mob Psycho 100, animated by Bones, who were the real people who made One Punch Man, not Madhouse. Madhouse was just the building they were inside. All of the key animators were from Bones. Anyway, Bones Studio and director Tachikawa from Death Parade, which ended on a cliffhanger. I really hope they continue that series. Make everything look really amazing. It doesn't look like a classic anime. It's like modern art. If modern art, well, I suppose postmodern art. That's the real thing that makes you rage. Modern art's one thing, but postmodern art, ooh, gives me the heebie-jeebies. 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 Anyway, more modern art when a character gets an idea, for example, she gets excited and her head turns into a light bulb. Ooh! Or how lines can become more aggressive when the tension's really tension. It's really ramping up. It's time to break out that tissue paper, speaking of tension. Anyway. I will release a more abrupt version of this video. Folded it up nice and neat. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's that good stuff. That's that good ASMR. They say that you're not able to give it to yourself, but I guess you just have to be that much of a loner. Anyway. Oh yeah, I was talking about the amazingly well done animation. Expressive. It really takes advantage of the fact that it's animation. Staying on model, the humbug. If you can really jump a mile when you're happy to show how happy that you are, as long as it doesn't break the canon of the world, then why not? Like Nichijou. I've actually never seen Nichijou, I've just heard that that's how it works. I hope that didn't force anyone to leave the video. I plan to see Nichijou eventually, but clearly I already am too unhealthily invested in cartoons and comics. I'll find a time. Come back to that. Do it too much, it won't be special. Anyway. Ooh. Rubbing that against my pants, or shirt better yet. Keep this clean. It's a very special sound. One last thing about the animation. It has a particularly special special type of animation in it that's rarely used, if ever, in large-scale anime, called paint on glass, which is basically stop motion, but with finger painting. Sounds silly, I know, but it's really amazing. You'll have to see it for yourself, or maybe you could look up another video about paint on glass. Anyway. Ooh, that's a nice echo. Now actually onto the DVD features here specifically, now that we've gone over the show. There are 4 DVDs inside this cover here. A nice bright pink, matches with the tone of the series, sometimes can be that wacky. I wouldn't love it though if it weren't for the darker scenes. By darker I mean touching, I should probably say, rather than dark. Not dark as, oh, he killed my entire family and there was blood and I swear vengeance. They have that in there too, but it's more of a parody. But more along the lines of, I've done nothing with my life and I feel hopeless and I don't think I can turn it around. How can I deal with that? Or my relationship with my family is based around a lie and I can't deal with that fact. Or I've lived so far thinking that I can make it through my life without friends on my own power, but in reality, true growth only comes from, well, not only comes, but if you don't share it with people or if you don't learn from other people, then you're cutting yourself off from the rest of the world and you're keeping yourself more juvenile. My favorite chapter in the entire series is actually something that melancholy. I mention this a lot. In fact, my name on the Mob Psycho 100 Reddit, Stubbly, is a reference to that chapter. It's two characters that have died already. They're ghosts. And one of them thinks of death as a failure, and he wants to live peacefully, and he's comfortable with taking what life has given him and just being. While the other character feels like, despite the fact that you are being, that's not what truly living is about. Does that really sound like such a simple cartoon or comic? And it really touched me because I'm always trying to find something to be passionate about and to drive my life forward. I'm passionate about this, obviously, but it doesn't really drive my life forward. Anyway. It is divided between 4 DVDs. These are the Blu-rays. These are the actual DVDs. I doubt that sound will be too relaxing. 12-episode series, no season 2 planned yet, although they've got a special movie that actually just released in Japan today, when I'm recording this video, the 18th. A stage play, musical in Japan, that's still airing at this moment, and they're going to come out with a DVD quite soon. I recently went broke trying to meet up with my girlfriend. She moved away shortly after we met. Her parents moved for business. She had to go with them. And we're seeing each other now for the first time in 6 months. It's very rare we get to visit each other. We're both very excited. Anyway. Time for more tissue paper. The Blu-ray discs, they have, the main menu is a variation of Reigen Arataka's theme, who's basically sort of like a secondary protagonist slash comic relief. He's the mentor to Mob, the main character. This is his silhouette. Do one better here. He's the one up here in the orange box. He claims to be a psychic master, the new star of the paranormal world. But, in fact, he is a con artist with a heart of gold. Heart. He cannot provide too much psychic training to Mob, who actually does have an almost limitless well of psychic energy, but in fact, now, there goes my computer's fans. Nothing I can do about that. But in fact, he does provide a lot of real-life advice. As a con artist, he knows a lot about reading people, being in touch with emotions, getting ahead in the world, business-wise. And he boosts Mob's confidence. Really great guy. He pulls a couple of heel turns in the series. It's always fun to watch gags, how he's able to always solve his customers' problems. Oh, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, I hope it wasn't too loud. Some 800 number, but they weren't saying anything. We get that problem here pretty often. Anyway, back to what I was saying before. Reigen Arataka. Even if he's not the main character, he usually ends up being people's favorite character in the series by the end. Oh yes, he always solves people's problems in alternate ways, only sometimes relying on Mob to deal with actual threats, such as evil spirits or curses. Now the main menu is black and white alternatively, with sketches, uncolored, of objects floating, manipulating spoons, etc. And it plays a version of Reigen Arataka's theme, but it's cut off at very weird points so that you can tell very clearly when it's looping, and it doesn't start the melody at quite the right point. It's odd to listen to. Once it gets going, it's something you can come around to. The Mob Psycho 100 soundtrack. The opening is memeable. It's catchy, visually breathtaking for sure, but is it a good song? I'll leave that up for you to decide. You can listen to it yourself. There are hundreds of remixes available, literally. It's called 99 by the Mob Choir. The ending theme, though, gorgeous. I've never heard of this band before. Makes sense since they only play in California and Japan. They're called, oh dear, and I have their CD too. Well, it's called Refrain All Off. All Off. Refrain Boy by All Off. Really interesting way that they use the guitar. Everything fits together very clearly. I'm a bit of a music nut too, particularly folk, Celtic. Really nice. And another interesting thing is that the lead singer for All Off is bilingual to English. So he did an English version of the song that plays at one point in the series. You'd think that the dub would take advantage of the fact that there is an official English version with official English lyrics, but they don't. They continue to use the Japanese lyrics the entire time. And the one point in the series